Hey donut lovers, did you know that the average donut factory produces over 100,000 donuts per day? That's a lot of sweet treats. I remember my first visit to a donut shop as a kid. The smell was unforgettable. Now, we're taking you behind the scenes of a real donut factory. You'll see giant mixers handling hundreds of pounds of dough, machines shaping thousands of donuts per hour, and fryers cooking them to golden perfection. Ready to discover the secrets behind your morning sugar rush? Let's dive in and explore how your favorite treats are made on a massive scale. Ever wonder what's going on inside those giant mixers at the donut factory? Let's take a closer look. Picture a massive stainless steel bowl, bigger than your bathtub, ready to create donut magic. Different recipes go in there for cake donuts and yeast donuts, each with its own special blend of ingredients. For cake donuts, we see flour, sugar, baking powder, and a hint of nutmeg being measured out. These donuts get their fluffy texture from chemical leaveners. Yeast donuts, on the other hand, use live yeast for a lighter, airier result. They get their own mix of flour, yeast, sugar, and a touch of salt. Watch as the factory workers carefully weigh each ingredient. Every gram matters to make sure your donuts taste the same, whether you're biting into one today or next month. Now, check out those specialized mixing paddles. They're not your average kitchen whisks. These industrial-strength beauties are designed to knead the dough just right. As they start to spin, you can hear the whir of the motor and see the ingredients slowly coming together. It's like a flour tornado in there. The temperature of the ingredients is super important. It's like Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold, but just right. Cold ingredients can affect how the dough rises, while warm ones might make it too sticky. The factory keeps everything at the perfect temperature to make sure the dough turns out great every time. As the mixer keeps working, we can see and smell the transformation happening. The air fills with the sweet scent of sugar and flour. What started as a powdery mess is now turning into a smooth, elastic dough. It's pretty cool to watch. Now let's talk numbers. You won't believe how many donuts can come from just one batch of this dough. Depending on the size of the mixer, we're looking at anywhere from 500 to 1,000 donuts. That's a lot of sweet treats from one big bowl, but we're not done yet. Once the dough is mixed to perfection, it's time for the next step in our donut adventure. The workers carefully remove the dough from the mixer, ready to shape it into those familiar rings we all know and love. Ever wondered where those delicious donut holes come from? Get ready to uncover the mystery and see donuts in a whole new light as we dive into the shaping process. Let's take a closer look at how our blob of dough becomes thousands of perfect circles. It's not done by hand. We're talking about a high-tech machine that's about to amaze you. Watch as workers carefully feed the dough into a giant metal box. This machine is the heart of the donut shaping operation. As the dough enters, it meets a series of precision cutters. These sharp blades slice through the dough with incredible accuracy, creating those familiar round shapes we all know and love. The cutters are so precise, they could probably slice a human hair lengthwise. But why are donuts round? Well, this shape has been used for centuries because it cooks evenly and is easy to handle. Plus, it's perfect for dunking in your coffee. Now check this out. As the rounds are cut, center punches swoop in to create the holes. It's like watching a synchronized dance of metal and dough. These center punches work non-stop, popping out donut holes left and right. You might be wondering what happens to all those donut holes. Don't worry, they don't go to waste. The factory collects these tasty little morsels. Some places sell them as a separate snack, while others might use them in other recipes. It's a smart way to make sure nothing goes to waste in the donut making process. Let's get back to our newly shaped donuts. As soon as they're cut and punched, they drop onto a conveyor belt. This moving platform is like a donut highway, whisking the perfectly shaped rings to the next stage of their journey. Now here's something that'll surprise you. Want to guess how many donuts this machine can shape in just 1 hour? We're talking thousands upon thousands. The speed and precision of this equipment are truly mind-boggling. It's like watching a donut-making whirlwind in action. But even with all this high-tech wizardry, the process isn't quite done yet. Our newly shaped donuts need a little break before they're ready for the next step. They've been through a lot after all. Our donuts have earned their break, but it's not nap time just yet. Ever wonder how those rings of dough transform into pillowy clouds of deliciousness? The secret lies in a special room that's about to work some serious magic. Step into the proofing chamber, a place where our donuts really come to life. Imagine a room bigger than your living room, filled with warm, moist air that smells like fresh bread. Racks upon racks of freshly shaped donuts line the walls, waiting for their moment to shine. As soon as those trays enter the chamber, something amazing starts to happen. The warm, humid air wraps around each donut like a cozy blanket. It's perfect for waking up the yeast in our dough. Think of yeast as tiny organisms that love to eat sugar and burp out gas. That's what makes our donuts rise. Watch closely as the flat rings of dough begin to puff up. It's like they're doing a slow-motion yoga stretch, reaching outward and upward. The smooth surface starts to develop tiny bubbles, a sure sign that those airy pockets are forming inside. Now you might think we just crank up the heat and let nature do its thing. But there's some high-tech wizardry going on here. We control the temperature and humidity down to the degree. Too hot, and our donuts might rise too fast and collapse. Too cool, and they'll be dense and sluggish. Here's a fun fact. Most of our donuts spend about 30 to 45 minutes in this cozy chamber. That's less time than it takes to watch your favorite TV show, but it's enough for them to nearly double in size. But don't be fooled. Proofing is both an art and a science. Our bakers are always checking the donuts, looking for that perfect moment when they've reached just the right size and texture. It's a skill that takes years to master, and it's one reason why our donuts taste so much better than the mass-produced kind. As we watch, the donuts continue their gentle expansion. The once flat circles are now plump and inviting, just begging to be fried to golden perfection. It's amazing how a little warmth, moisture, and time can transform simple dough into something so delicious. Get ready for the main event. It's frying time. The air fills with the sizzling sound and mouth-watering aroma of cooking dough as we approach a massive river of hot oil. This golden highway is about to transform our puffy dough into crispy, delicious donuts. Watch closely as the first batch of donuts plunges into the bubbling oil. They're not just floating around. See how they're carefully flipped halfway through? This ensures even cooking on both sides. As they make their way through the oil, something magical happens. The pale dough slowly changes color, turning that perfect golden brown we all love. This color change is due to the Maillard reaction, where sugars and proteins in the dough react under heat to create new flavors in that appetizing brown color. The oil temperature is crucial for perfect donuts. Too hot, and the outside burns before the inside cooks. Too cold, and they'll soak up too much oil. The frying experts keep a close eye on the temperature to get it just right. Different oils can affect the flavor and texture of the donuts. Some factories use vegetable oil for a neutral taste, while others opt for coconut oil for a subtle sweetness. Look at that special conveyor at the end of the oil river. It's like a high-tech fishing rod for donuts. It scoops them up and carries them to the next stage, making sure none get left behind or overcooked. Now, how long do you think it takes to fry a donut? Surprisingly, the entire process takes just about 1 minute in most factories. A lot happens in those 60 seconds. The heat causes the dough to expand, creating that light, airy texture we love. At the same time, the outside cooks to crispy perfection. It's a delicate balance, with the donuts reaching golden brown just as they finish cooking inside. As our newly fried donuts emerge from their oil bath, they need a moment to cool down and let excess oil drip off. This cooling process is crucial. It sets the donut structure and prevents sogginess. It's like letting a cake cool before frosting it, but on a much faster timescale. In just a few minutes, these golden rings of deliciousness will be ready for the next exciting step in their journey to donut perfection. Now that our donuts have cooled off, it's time for the sweet magic to begin. Ever wondered how plain fried dough becomes a glossy, colorful treat? Let's dive into the world of glazes and fillings, where donuts get their final mouth-watering touch. First up, we've got the classic glazed donut. The factory heats up a special sugar syrup to just the right temperature. Each donut takes a quick dip in this sweet bath, followed by a dusting of powdered sugar or cinnamon sugar. It's like they're getting dressed up for a fancy donut party. Now check out the filled donuts. See that machine over there? It's called a jelly filling machine, and it's about to work its magic. Watch as it quickly injects each donut with a burst of fruity filling. For cream-filled varieties, another machine pipes in a smooth, creamy filling that'll make your taste buds dance. Look at that conveyor belt carrying thousands of donuts through what looks like a sugar waterfall. That's the icing station. The icing starts as an oil-based paste called fondant. It's smoothed onto the cooled donuts and left to dry, giving them that perfect shiny finish we all love. But what about those colorful glazes that make your mouth water just by looking at them? The secret's in the mix. The factory combines vegetable oils and food-grade emulsifiers, heating them up until they're just right for drizzling or pouring over the donuts. It's like watching edible art being created right before your eyes. Quality control is super important in donut making. Workers inspect each donut, making sure it looks perfect and meets the right weight and size. No ugly ducklings allowed in this donut family. Here's something cool. Some glazes need time to set before the donuts can be packaged. It's like letting nail polish dry, but way more delicious. This extra step ensures that when you open that box of donuts, they look as good as they taste. These specialized machines can handle a huge volume of donuts. We're talking thousands of donuts getting glazed and filled in record time. It's like a donut water park, but instead of water slides, we've got glaze falls and filling injectors. Ever wondered what the most unusual donut flavor might be? From unique glazes to surprising fillings, donut makers are always pushing the flavor boundaries. What's the weirdest donut flavor you've ever tried or heard of? Ever wonder how those delicate donuts make it from the factory to your local shop without turning into a sticky mess? Let's dive into the fascinating world of donut packaging and shipping, where logistics meet pastry perfection. First up, we've got the boxing process. Watch as workers carefully place each donut into specially designed containers. These boxes are built to protect our sugary friends from getting squished during their journey. They're made with food-grade materials that meet strict safety regulations, ensuring our treats stay fresh and uncontaminated. Before the donuts even make it to the box, they're wrapped in labeled bags. These labels aren't just for show. They tell us what flavors are inside and other important details. It's like giving each donut its own little passport for the trip ahead. Now let's talk about keeping these treats fresh. Look at those special containers over there. They're designed to keep the donuts at just the right temperature, preventing them from getting soggy or losing their delicious texture. See that machine? It's actually an X-ray. Some donuts go through this high-tech device to make sure there aren't any unwanted surprises in the mix. It's like airport security, but for pastries. Check this out. Each package of donuts gets scanned to figure out its weight and size. This helps with proper invoicing and tracking when the donuts reach their final destination. The factory uses advanced software to monitor each shipment's journey, ensuring they can pinpoint where every box of donuts is at any given moment. Now, watch the final steps of packaging. The donuts that pass the quality check get placed onto clean packaging material. Look at those labels being applied. They show the weight and type of each donut package. See these high-tech sealing machines? They're creating an airtight seal around each package, ensuring a clean environment for the donuts during their trip. This seal is crucial for maintaining freshness. Let's head outside to see where these boxed-up treats are heading. Look at those refrigerated trucks lined up and ready to go. Some of these donuts are about to embark on journeys hundreds of miles long to reach hungry customers. It's like a cross-country road trip, but with donuts as the passengers. Donuts have come a long way since their introduction to America in the 19th century. While the basic process remains, techniques have evolved, leading to creative flavors and artisanal approaches alongside traditional favorites. Ever tried making donuts at home? It's a fun way to appreciate the craft. Start with a simple cake donut recipe and let your imagination run wild with toppings. We'd love to hear about your donut adventures. Share your favorite recipes or experiences in the comments. What's the most unique donut you've ever tasted? Let's celebrate these sweet circles of joy together and keep the donut tradition alive.